Welcome back to another episode of the Dominique Chantel Show. I am so excited you guys have decided to join me again today. Before we get started, I just want to thank everybody, all my listeners and my subscribers for sticking with me and just giving me the opportunity to serve you in this process. So if you don't already know, just a little bit about me. My name is Dominique Chantel. I'm an author, podcaster, speaker, and I am commissioned, and my purpose is to serve you and to help you create an intentional life for yourself. The one that I've created for myself and in the process of still creating. And so, within this community, within this journey, I do feel that it's so important for us to be rotating well on all cylinders in our faith. And for me, it's my relationship with Jesus Christ and my finances. That goes without saying. Just being a good steward over my money, in my relationships, any relationship that I have, whether it's my romantic relationships, my friendships, and my family ships, right? And then also in the area of my feelings, so my emotions, I want to be well. And so I have goals in all those areas of my life, and I want to help you do the same. And so that's what this channel is about. And essentially, we are talking today about the whole faith, right? So, talking about your dreams. And I'm going to tell you a story. But before I do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, go ahead and share my platform. Go, if you have not already, follow me on Instagram at Dominique Chantel, on Facebook at Dominique Chantel, and then on YouTube, you should be following me at Dominique Chantel TV. I drop new episodes every week to inspire you to transform your life. So keep checking back because we're going to keep growing and glowing on this channel. All right. So today, without further ado, and I also want to welcome in my Beat Break Radio listeners and my Honey Roku TV people. Honey TV, we are now on Honey TV, which is on Roku TV. Please go and support. Okay, support. So I appreciate you all. I love you so much, and thank you so much for supporting your girl. I really, really do appreciate it. Okay, I really do. So let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So today I am going to be talking about how God speaks in your dreams. And dreams are your purpose, right? God has put purpose in you. And this is a way for you to know that God is speaking to you. He's speaking to you and he's speaking through you. So, if you know about me, I am all about giving you the information that you need to succeed. Okay, so this is how we're going to go ahead and rock this. So, how to keep your dreams alive. And I'm going to go ahead and start in Genesis 37, verses 18 through 28. And I'm starting with the King James Version. And it reads, "And when they saw him afar off, before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him." And so let me stop right there because I'm talking about Joseph. The story that I am reading is about Joseph, and Joseph was one of God's own. And Joseph was called at a time when he was basically providing for several people. He provided for a nation, and he provided for his family as well. And so in this instance, if you go back and read the entire chapter, Joseph's brothers were basically conspiring to kill him because they were jealous. They were envious of his dreams. And so I don't know how many of you can relate, but people who are jealous or envious of your dreams. So you're not abnormal, but this happened in the Bible. And I'm going to tell you how Joseph handled this and how God speaks to you in your dreams and how your dreams are valid. Your dreams are something that you should live out. And just because you're not seeing the fruit right now, you may be sowing, but God will bless you. He will allow your dreams to come true. And so this is the chapter that I'm reading, Genesis 37, 18 through 28. It says, In verse 18, and when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. So they're talking about Joseph and his brothers wanting to slay him. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it. This is his youngest brother. And he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto his other brothers, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brother, what profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let our hand be upon him. For he is our brother in our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then were passed by Midianite merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt. So here you see Joseph gets sold by his brothers. And so I want to tell you that your dream that you are dreaming, people, people are going to tell you that the dream that you're dreaming, it's not going to come true, or they may not believe you. And I want you to know that, again, Joseph's brothers did the same thing to him. And matter of fact, they said that they were envious of him. They called him like, hey, here comes this dreamer. You know, have you ever told something to somebody? And I know this happened to me. It was one of my good friends. I told him, I'm like, hey, this is my dream. And they were like, girl, please, like, no. And I'm like, okay, I know what God told me. You know, for me, it was just an indication that I needed to insulate that dream, right? So keep it to myself. I'll never mention it to them again, but just work on it in silence. And so for me, that was just confirmation, like, okay, I'm not telling my dream to anybody else. I'm going to work on this. This is between me and God. So here's the thing, my first point, only tell people your dream on a need to know basis. So when I say need to know basis, I mean extremely need to know basis, because everybody can't handle your dream, because everybody doesn't have the same call as you. So when I say a need to know basis, I mean specifically it needs to be people in your sacred circle. And people who are in your sacred circle, to be honest, this means that even your family members may not be in your sacred circle. Your family members will not always be in your sacred circle. And so that's why I call it a sacred circle, because these are the people who, you know, love you. Here's the thing, love you unconditionally, and know that the call on your life is much greater than they may believe, or maybe even what they believe for themselves. But they know that there is something in you that must come out. And I want you to know, don't ever let anybody tell you or make you feel small for dreaming your dream, because that's just it. Your dream was meant for you to be in connection, number one, with God, so that you can achieve that dream. If you have a dream, and I know this is so cliche, but if you have a dream that you feel like you can fulfill on your own, it's too small. It's just too small. You need to dream bigger. You need to, think bigger, right? Because if you can do it on your own, it's not the dream that God has for you. So I want you to keep that in mind. And also, and this is the way how you keep it keep it alive. Okay. Again, even your family members are off limits because it's your purpose. When Joseph spoke of his dreams, his brothers got jealous, and his father even showed favoritism to Joseph because his father knew that Joseph would be something. So, and I want to say too, as a teacher, we have to only discuss, as a teacher myself, we have a policy where we only discuss students' information, pertinent information on a need to know basis. Like if you need to know about the student, I can discuss them with you. But other than that, I'm not talking about their business. So no, again, your dream should only be shared with your sacred circle. Okay. And sometimes not even they can handle it. So keep that in mind. Number 2, you can't allow the limitation of others dictate your belief in God for your dream. Again, you can't allow the limitation of others to dictate your belief in God for your dream. So it says in Genesis 37, 5-9, it says, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. There are going to be some people that you tell your dream to, if you do tell your dream to them, and they hate you even more. They despise you even more. Let's go back to the text. And he said unto him, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. Ooh, listen. And he dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brethren and said, I have dreamed another dream. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. So the thing is, they did not believe him, right? They're like, who are you having these dreams, Joseph? You're just our brother. You're just the nobody. Oh, wow. This is kind of like foreshadowing Jesus, right? Because the very thing that the thing about Jesus is when he went to back to Nazareth, back to his town that he was born in, the people couldn't accept him because they knew him from where he was, from how he grew up. And so it's going to be hard for some people to accept your calling and for accept your dreams that God has given you. So be mindful of that. Even though, here's the thing, Joseph was being obedient, right, to his father. He kept dreaming the dreams. Joseph didn't let that stop him, and I'm so glad he didn't. But the thing is, people will create a plan to keep you from dreaming your dream, and Joseph's brothers did the same thing. So here's the thing. You have to vet people in your circle. Again, going back to that sacred circle. And how you put people in vetting them, and how you do this is putting them in categories. Okay. There's your sacred circle. There are your friends. There are your acquaintances or co-workers, and then there's society. Those 4. Your sacred circle and your friends should be the only 2 that have any bearing on like your emotions, your finances, or any decision making. These other 2 categories, acquaintances and coworkers and society, they should have the very least minimum on your emotional, on your emotional psyche, on your mind, on your beliefs, on your values. They should be like at the lowest of the low. Okay. That's how you keep an upward motion and progressing forward on how you evolve and get better. So I just want to say that, really sorry. But it's important, because if you don't vet people, then you'll have somebody in society or the acquaintance circle, and you got them up here affecting your emotions. No. Your people at your job shouldn't be affecting your emotions. You handle them from a place of, these are people at my job, these are my coworkers, and deal with them in such a manner. Okay. Have boundaries. You have boundaries, right? These people shouldn't be getting you upset to the point that you want to, you want to scream, you want to holler or interrupt your day. It's like, no, they are at the bottom. Okay. Um, yeah, affecting your emotions. So yes. So we gotta make sure like we vet people, right? And then they should not have again or dictate your belief in your dream. Let me tell you something. God has already stamped the approval for your dream. God has already stamped your destiny on this earth. And so there is no other approval that you need. The people that you need around you are people that are championing you, that are pushing you to your purpose, pushing you to your dream, pushing you to your calling. And unfortunately, we don't have, some people don't have those type of people. And so we stay stuck. And so we never live out our dreams. But no more, not this year, not in 2024. I'm telling you, I'm going to be pushing you, and you're going to be inside of like-minded community that is going to be pushing you. So I'm here to say, sis, bro, listen, we here and we going to do this together. So make sure you are vetting the people in your circle, only telling people on a need to know basis and not believing what they have said about your dream. Go forth, go and do it. Your vision is not for everybody. Okay? And some people, not everybody is going to be able to handle it. Okay? All right, moving on. When you have dreams, you have to learn to expect the unexpected and trust God in the process. Again, when you have dreams, you have to learn to expect the unexpected and trust God in the process. Okay? So, let me say this. Joseph wasn't expecting his brothers to sell him, you know, but I'm sure it didn't surprise him. This was him being rejected by his brothers. So Joseph's story goes on, and you should really read it because it's so rich in so many things. But Joseph actually was sold again into slavery by his brothers, so that was rejection, right? But Joseph ended up in a prison in Pharaoh's house because Pharaoh's wife lied on him. But here's the thing, I don't think that Joseph would have been able to handle the prison if he hadn't been rejected by his brothers. So even the very selling, the rejection of his brothers, when his brothers sold him into slavery, come on, catch this. Joseph wouldn't have been able to handle the prison because he had already been rejected by his brothers. So rejection from Pharaoh and his wife, this was nothing. And he wouldn't have survived his prison to feed a nation. Listen to me. Some of you are still stuck on things that people have done to you. And I'm telling you, you need to move through it. If it wouldn't have happened from your family, it wouldn't have gotten you to the point of not being disappointed or let down by other people. The very fact that you were rejected by your family, you were able to handle being rejected by your boss, being rejected by your coworker, being rejected by a spouse, you know. But these are the things that are all helping you, pulling you forward, helping you evolve, helping you grow, helping you change. Listen, I want to tell you that what people mean for evil, God turns it out for your good. Come on now. Let me say that again. What people mean for evil, God turns it around and works it out for your good. So the very thing, that rejection, when Joseph had the rejection of his brothers when they sold him into slavery, he was able to handle the prison. Otherwise, I believe Joseph would have lost his mind in prison when Pharaoh threw him in prison. You know, Joseph knew though that God would deliver him out of the prison. Joseph never stopped believing. And also, this allowed Joseph, let me tell you, to survive the season of isolation where he was taken to prison. And then from there, God elevates Joseph. He uses, because Joseph was a dreamer, right? The very thing that his brothers rejected about him, God ends up using it in the end. Come on. What do you have that people have rejected? Know that God is going to use that in the end to elevate you, to put you in rooms, to have you help others, to have you inspire, to have you transform, to have you teach, to have you preach, to have you start the business, to have you work where you are in the midst of where you are, to train people, to help people, to love people. Come on. Listen, I'm telling you, the very thing that you think that makes you unworthy or unqualified, God is going to use that. He's going to use it. So marinate on that. God elevates Joseph to be his right hand man, to be Pharaoh's right hand man. What happens, and I again encourage you, go back and read the story. So Joseph, he's a dreamer. He tells his dream to his family. He's rejected by his family. They said, "Who are you? Ha ha ha. You're not going to be over us." His brothers, one day when they were tilling the land, when they were herding the sheep, the flock, they go out. They devise a plan. They sell Joseph. First, they're going to kill him. But his brother Reuben says, "No, we're not going to kill him. Right? It's our blood. What would it profit us to kill our own blood? So let's sell him." So they sell him. Okay. And after they sell him, that's when Joseph begins. It's like a whole, his story begins, right? So he's up in Pharaoh's house, and he is appointed. He's up there like with Pharaoh. And the thing is, Pharaoh's wife lies on him and says, "Hey, he came and he tried to sleep with me." And that's when he gets thrown in prison. Well, Joseph, again, has already been rejected by his brothers. So he's able to survive the prison. And then they dream a dream to Baker, two men from Pharaoh's house. He throws them in prison as well. And they dream dreams when they're in prison. And Joseph is the only one who can solve the dream or tell them what the dream means. And so one day, Pharaoh comes and get the baker and the other man. I forget who he is. It escapes me right now. But basically, the baker ends up surviving, and he's basically elevated back to his position with Pharaoh. And Joseph's like, remember me when you get elevated and come back and get me. But the baker forgets. And then what happens is Pharaoh dreams a dream. Come on. Pharaoh dreams a dream. And Pharaoh needs somebody to solve it. So they bring everybody, magicians, they bring priests, they bring all the people in the land. And they like, nobody can tell you what your dream means, Pharaoh. But the baker remembers, he said, "I know a man named Joseph. He was in prison." So they go down and they get Joseph, and Pharaoh tells Joseph his dreams, and Joseph basically lets him know what his dreams mean. And that is when he's like, "I will make you, basically, you're going to be my right hand man. You'll be under me. Whatever I tell people to do, like, you're under me. After me, it's you." And so this is how God elevates him to a place. And so I'm telling you, the very thing that people are saying you're not good at or that you think has been rejected, God is going to use it and work it out. So be firm and be encouraged in that. God is going to use that. But not only that, he goes and he saves a nation. So the time that it took was 13 years from Joseph being sold by his brothers. So Joseph was 17 when he was in his father's house to the time he was 30. Okay. So again, that's 13 years. 13 years. So when he was raised and elevated to his position, God used Pharaoh to elevate him during this time. So anything worth having takes time, and your dreams are valid. And if God showed it to you, he will deliver on his promise. Hold on. Your time is coming. Keep believing and keep moving positively in the direction of your dreams. It doesn't matter if you don't have the right followers, if you don't have the influence that you want to have right now, if you don't have the right resources that you want to have right now, keep working, keep doing it. Listen, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to end with this. When I was coming up, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a famous singer. And you couldn't tell me anything. I was going to be this famous singer. So I started with singing groups. We started writing music. It started with my best friends, right? We were writing, I was writing the music and we were performing. And it was like a thing. This is what I was going to do. I was going to be a famous singer. And it was at this point in time where all the girl groups were coming up, like Black. Um, um, Escape was hot. TLC was hot. SWV was hot. It was so many. It's another girl group that came out. Destiny's Child, right, was hot. And so we were going to be the next big thing. Our group was called In Jag. Not just another group. In dash and then Jag. Not just another group. And so, you know, I just knew. I was like, we're gonna make it. So we went to auditions. We tried out in front of, several like label executives, and my best friend, two of them, that we had two rappers in the group. The other of us were singers. And we was gonna make it big. And that was my thing. And I was like, I'm gonna be this famous writer, right? But that didn't work out. And then I was a part of a gospel singing group called Majestic. And we sang, we performed at my church, my local church that I grew up in. And we performed at the Roxy in Buckhead. And it was just like, man, my dream. I was working it. I was writing, I was singing. And I was like, I'm going to be this famous singer. And then things didn't pan out with the girl group. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this solo thing. And so my name, is Dominique Chantel. I came out with a 5-song demo. Listen, I've done it. And you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be no singer, right? No famous singer. And, when that didn't work out, it's like, okay, I went to college and I found another love. I found writing and I found broadcast, which is why I went to the University of Missouri, Columbia. And at the University of Missouri, Columbia, I pledged Delta Sigma Theta and I met my amazing line sisters. I love each of them to this day. It was 13 of us. And, our dean named us trademarks. And she said, I believe that each of you will make your mark on this world. You will be a trademark. And by golly, like every one of my line sisters, they are successful. We are truly leaving our mark on this world. And it would be great for me to have all of them on one day. That would be beautiful. But put it down below if y'all want me to have my line sisters on, because I think that would be so amazing if all 13 of us could get on here. That would be so wonderful to me. But that was my dream, right? But God's like, I have other plans for you, Dominique. And so in my sophomore year, I pledged Delta. And I was in broadcast journalism. And this is the first time that I'm saying this, but I made a not so good grade on the initial journalism class. I think I made like a C. And it was so competitive to get into the journalism school, right? It was really, really competitive. And when I didn't get in, I was hurt. I was bummed. I was mad. I was upset. I was angry. But that was the first time where I had ran up against opposition in something that I wanted to do. And so what I ended up doing was I ended up majoring in English and I ended up writing. And when I came out of college, I always wanted to have my own magazine. So I said, I'm going to have my own magazine. And so I did. I published Rain Magazine. the first year that I came out, and it was a success. It was a Christian publication. And I had advertisers. We sold advertisement in the spaces, but guess what happened that next year? 9/11. So the advertisers that I had relied on, they were no more because companies were going bankrupt. And so I had to think of something else. So I had to go into the workplace. But I'm saying all that to say, the dream that I initially had for myself, I knew I was going to be this famous singer. I knew I was going to, create songs for millions of people. People would know my name by singing. But God had other plans for me. And the dream that he has given me now is taking, I can't talk tonight, taking the wisdom that I know, the things that I have learned and my experiences, and bringing them to you all in a way that resonates with you. And if I could help somebody, then I have done my job. If I have inspired somebody, then I have done my job. If I have given somebody some information that will take 10 years off of their life, then I have done my job. So I want to encourage you today that if this show has helped you, share it with somebody else. Like and comment. I'll be showing up here every week on my YouTube channel. And again, tell everybody you know, because we're taking this to the nation. And I don't want you to miss out on anything, miss out on any episode, because we are going higher, we are going further, we are going quicker, and we are going faster, and we are scaling, we are going up, this year. This year will be an amazing year. And so I want to again personally say thank you, thank you, thank you. And make sure you come back. All right. Make sure you check me out. Keep checking back. And I have some awesome things that are on the rise. And I'm going to tell you about them, some programs that I have coming out. So make sure you stay tuned and listen. I want you to make sure you always let love be your guide in life, today, forever, and always. I love y'all. Bye.